what I mean?
Don't burn bridges. You know what I mean? Like, one thing I see a lot of people do is just try to take like an aggressive standpoint to like, you know, make themselves seem like a staple. And I've always felt like that's the wrong. Makes a lot of people, you may win in the short term, but you'll lose in the long run. You know, build with people, build networks, you know, and give everyone a shot. You never know who can help you or who's going to turn into what, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there that, you know, I've just met off a 1-2 handshake that have turned around 3-4 years later and hit me up and been like, yo, I have this opportunity. I've thought of you, you know, and you just never really know, you know, and hopefully you're in a position to be that person to provide that opportunity to the next guy, you know what I'm saying? So.
All right, welcome back to the Now or Never podcast. Today we're kicking off the first episode of season 2 with a notable guest, a staple in the underground rap battle scene, specifically in Toronto, hence the name of the legendary league, King of the Dot. He's been hosting this league as both a battle rapper and a founder since the year 2008 and has been at the forefront of some of the most memorable and intense battles between the top battle artists. Without further ado, Organik.
My man.
Legend.
Thanks for coming on the pod.
Absolute legend.
So first and foremost, congratulations again on the whole Ghost Drops thing, right?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We're gonna get into the whole backstory on King of the Dot and everything you've done with that.
Yep.
But because this is more recent, we're gonna start off with Ghost Drops. So how did this start? Like, when did this whole thing emerge?
This emerged, you know, about 1.5 years before legalization. Obviously, you know, sold drugs my whole life, pretty much. You know, so did some of my partners. So really just coming together and putting a brand beside it and understanding like the legal landscape, we kind of like had foresight on and, you know, just talking about ways we could change it and then, you know, decided to be that. I've always been someone that pay a lot of attention to like small detail and whatever I'm in. If I'm in cannabis, if I'm in, you know, battle rap, I just try to pay attention like gaps in the market, what people aren't doing, targets that can be hitting that they're not. When it came to cannabis, I just thought that there was a big space for a brand for people to be proud of, right? Like, I'm in California half the year for battle rap. I've never had anybody in California ever ask me about a Canadian brand. They always ask about Canadian weed, but there's never been a name associated with it. But when you're up in Canada and you ask about American brands, you know the Cookies, Jungle Boys, Alien Labs, you know all the big players, you know what I mean? So I just felt like there was a lot of space for Canada to have like a main player. You know, looking at like, you know, going over, kind of just doing my initial research, going on Reddit, just seeing what people were doing. Everyone was posting mids, like never anything. And like my logic was like, posting that doesn't make me want to buy it. But if I'm going to post some fire, people are going to be like, where'd you get that? How'd you get that? And like, that's how you can start like building this. So we really just put together like a plan on, you know, what we wanted to do and how we wanted to change, you know, the landscape of the black market in cannabis. So, you know, King of the Dot over the last couple of years, I traveled a lot, met a lot of the good growers just from traveling and shit. And we decided to try to consolidate them together and create a group. And Ghost Drops was the platform to outfit all that.
How was the transition from the black market into like legitimately starting a business? How was that process?
It was, you know, we're still in that process. I feel like, you know what I mean? It's happened so quick. 7 months ago, we were still selling on the black market, you know, so we're here now, but I don't know, we didn't get arrested. I think that was like the main thing when the first talks started happening. Like, you think you're walking into one of those sting operations where you're like, oh, you want a free trip, and then you're that sucker that walks in there and they slap your wrist with handcuffs and shit like that. So, you know, you always have those like thoughts, and is this real? Is this going to happen? You know, are they trying to just get us out the game? Because, you know, you're disrupting a market when you're in the black market, right? They're trying to build a whole new market for cannabis, and you're on the other side, you know, kind of pulling that back. But you know, part of legalization in Canada is converting legacy brands. And I think, you know, they made a right decision and we made the right jump at the right time. So it's been interesting.
I also want to say even big up like Ghost Drops for being one of the very few like flagship like brands. You have your flagship store, right, which we're mentioning just opened. And yeah, so it's just like big ups to you guys for that, because there's very few. 100%.
You guys have like your own personal strand of weed at each flagship?
No, like it kind of works differently. Like, obviously when we're in the black market, we're able to drop new strains every week, you know, but here you got to list for SKUs and you got to get them approved and everything and get those listings through OCS. So right now we released a First Class Funk and Z Splitter. Those are our first 2 strains on the market. You know, they've won a lot of awards worldwide, so those cuts are like very well renowned across Canada. And we got Khalifa Mints dropping this month, and you know, we got a lot more coming in the fall.
What's your favorite strand so far?
I mean, I'm biased, bro. Like, me personally, I'm a Skittles. I love Skittles, right? I love Skittles, wedding cakes. But, you know, the Z Splitters are Skittles crossed with Adam Splitter. And then, you know, funk has been one of my staples for the last 6 years. Us being able to commercialize that and bring it nationwide was a big deal for cannabis in Canada, because that, like, when we had that in the black market, it was gone within 30 seconds anytime we put it on our site. Like, people were dying for it. So it was like the main hype strain of our black market days, right? So that's what I felt like everyone always wanted. It was very hard to get. So for us to be able to bring that to market, commercialize it, and make it readily available for people to just walk in a store and buy at leisure, that was a big deal. You know what I mean? Because no one's really had cannabis we can be like ultimately ultra proud of yet. And I feel like this is just the step in that direction. First Class Funk is a winner. It's something everybody's been really proud of. The COAs speak for themselves. We're hitting like 34% THC on them, 5% terps. Like, you know, they speak for themselves. They're just really good genetics. And I think that's what the market needed, was some, you know, people coming in and understanding the genetic history and the lineage and the importance of all those things in the game.
It's like keeping the game exciting too. And like, I know you posted today, you guys are releasing like a new strain.
Yeah.
Can you give us like a little sneak peek at that?
I can't, man.
Can't
you
say
know,
nothing?
I can't yet. But it's coming. It's coming, man.
I want to guess some sort of ice cream cake.
I'll tell you all the breeder, man. The breeder is Tiki Madman. So it's a Tiki Madman genetic.
Okay,
so
bet.
Shout out Tiki Madman.
Let's talk about a little bit of the release of Ghost Shops and the grand opening and stuff, right? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. I know them three where it was on Easter weekend, right?
Yep.
So what was that like? Any memorable moments? Or
I mean, that was cool, bro. It's like, I think like, you know, you got to understand, retail isn't like the main focal point of our brand or strategy. You know, like our retail store is more of a marketing touch point for our brand in the city. People to be able to come to Toronto, have a place, a community, a household where they can go, hang out, meet people, and kind of just engage in the cannabis community itself. And that's something I feel like a lot of brands have overlooked, is like, we built a community with this, and that's really what we're trying to do with our flagship store. It's a hub, if anything, right? A place for people to just come, meet people, educate themselves, and, you know, build within the brand, you know?
Yeah.
The turnout was crazy. Like,
yeah, it was. You know, I think we had like 1,000 people come out that day. You know what I mean?
How's that feeling? Like, you know, to like...
Yo, it's funny, bro, because I know what that feeling's like in battle rap. To show up to an event, there's lineups outside, and you're like, fuck, how do I get in the venue without all these people seeing me and shit like that? But this was cool because it's something that we hid for so long. Like, you got to understand, like, when we're in the black market, like, I would see how big it is. I'm posting, there's 700 comments on every post on Instagram. It's like, man, I got to cross the border tonight. I got to wipe all this shit from my phone, because, you know, you had to keep it hidden. You couldn't let people know. So the fact that like we're able to celebrate it, have people come out and embrace it as their own, and seeing the people behind it, seeing like, you know, the integrity that's actually behind the product, it means a lot to us, you know? So I think that the turnout really just speaks a lot of volumes on what we were able to do behind a mask, you know?
I feel like with all the success you have, I feel like you deserve it too, because just not even because we're on camera, but like we even say with my guys that you're a really humble person, and like you really take your time to really listen to somebody and even give somebody an opportunity. So just want to put that out there.
Appreciate that,
as
man.
well,
Thank
you.
you.
Know what I'm
Thank
yeah,
you.
well, we can talk about the time at Memphis Barbecue. You know Memphis Barbecue,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
So I met him.
Yeah, we were.
I ran up to him. Like,
It was us three, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, let me play a track, bro. And he listened, bro. And it was like,
I'm not gonna lie, I was too scared to run up to you. So he was like, "No, you know what?" He's like, "I'm gonna do
person
it."
where I don't like, I have to, bro. Like,
Yeah,
'cause then I feel like,
But
what
that's
if
good.
I didn't?
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
Closed mouths don't get fed, man.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to say that. But
Appreciate that.
I had never done it before. That's why. Like he had the opportunity to do that. You kind of have to like work your way into courage in that sense. But
even in battle rap, or just even in like the rap scene in general, like you're a pillar for a lot of these artists. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You serve to be that like that icon who like put literally Toronto on the map. Aside from like Drake in terms like that, but you put like a whole scene on the map. And like,
Yeah, we had it. You know,
crazy.
Drake definitely put the city on. I think King of the Dot added a lot of layers to it. You know what I mean? They made people realize, like, oh shit, look, there's hip hop up there. And I think, like, because the style of music Drake was putting out at that time, it garnished a certain amount of respect. But like rappers were still in that like negative mentality where like, oh, he's not this. But then when they're like, you speak of Canada, you couldn't not mention King of the Dot, and like that took that whole argument away from them. It's like, yeah, that was like almost the main hub for battle rap, real lyricism. So, you know, it just showed that the city had a lot of layers to it, you know what I mean? And that meant a lot, because for years, like, you know, I think a lot of people forget what the hip hop landscape was like in Toronto and Canada. It was a rat race of everyone trying to make it. You know what I mean? So, you know, for us to finally be able to get like our feet in America, people in America to watch what's happening up in Canada, it's a big fucking deal, because, you know, for years it was a long shot. People didn't care. You know?
No, 100%.
Yeah, Canada always seems to get like the shit end of the stick with everything.
Yeah, well, you know, I wouldn't say the shit end of the stick, bro. We just got to work harder, and that's not something anybody should be scared of. You know, you should be wanting to work harder because when your time comes, you're more prepared than the other people. That's why King of the Dot was successful. Once we got into America, we were able to succeed because we were better prepared from everyone because we had to work twice as hard just to be able to get there. So when the bigger workload came, we knew how to handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Especially back then, too, because Toronto didn't have that light yet. Like, you know what I mean? So I can even imagine back then. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was funny, bro. Like, we used to get so much hate when I started King of the Dot because it wasn't freestyle, right? And I come from the freestyle era. I was a freestyle battler. I've won hundreds of freestyle competitions. But, like, a lot of the older heads, it just wasn't, like, hip-hop to them. You know what I mean? They were scared to accept that change and that a new generation of kids were coming in. So, like, I used to get dogged on hard when I first started. Everyone would call it fake. And then, you know what I mean? It just...
By people from the States or just
no,
like...
Canada.
Really?
People in Canada didn't want to fuck with it because, like, again, we were such, like, trying so hard to be, like, purists and everything. Like, we didn't want, you know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, it's not real. They're writing their raps and shit like that. And it's like, yo, it just evolved. Like, where we can freestyle, but half these kids are going to show up with fucking writtens anyway. So you might as well come prepared.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Is that all like that?
No,
like,
that was literally, yeah.
These days,
and that's
but back in the day, it wasn't.
That's actually one of the questions we had because I feel like a lot of people get the whole, like, freestyle versus written content, like, misconstrued. So it's like, for King of the Dot, I guess it started. Did it start as a freestyle league? And
no, well, what's funny, bro, is in the intentions of King of the Dot were supposed to be a freestyle battle. Like, I would have never even called it King of the Dot, you know, if I knew it was going to be what it was. So I had won a bunch of competitions in the city, you know, and like the one thing that always bothered me was that there wasn't like one, other than Proud to be a Battle MC, which I felt like was Canada's like main battle competition. There was never anything that crowned anyone as like the king of the city or like the king of the country, or and they all had horrible names. It's like you'd win a competition, like, you know, cool, I'm the fucking licensed to ill champion. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just not cool. But so it was all about like creating something that everybody in the city would want to compete for, to say who's the king of the city for this, right? But being a 20-year-old kid, how do you get a venue? How do you get deposits? How do you do, like, no one believed in it, right? And rap battle just had this stigma from back in the day as like fighting and violence and guns and shit. So no one wanted to give like these young kids a venue to, like, you know, throw this type of an event in. So we just hit the streets, let people prepare, because, you know, it was kind of like a runoff of the World Rap Championships that we did, you know, the year before. So it just took off that way. But yeah, it's funny how it all turned out, bro. King of the Dot was never intended to be the name of it or anything. It was put your money where your mouth is. But
that's right. Yeah,
but the name was too long, because the whole format was, you two are battling. You're gonna bring $100. You're gonna bring $100. The winner's gonna walk with the loser's money. You know what I mean? Like, put your money behind your skill set.
My favorite part is like when the champion wins the chain. That's like winning the title, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's just the hardest part.
Yeah, we did a video paying homage to the King of the Dot, which I don't know if you saw. It was a couple years back.
Yeah, I did.
We made like
super dope.
Yeah, we made like a chain, same way and all that
super
stuff.
Dope, man. Super dope.
But before we get into the King of the Dot stuff, going back, so regarding Ghost Drops, the people that don't know, like, who's part of Ghost Drops, if you're allowed to say.
Like, shout out some of the guys that work with you. Who are like the...
Oh, man, there's a whole bunch of us. I don't even know where to start. Obviously, my partner, John Dean, you know what I mean? Like, me and him were at the beginning of it, the vision, you know, and our other silent partner. It was really us three that put a lot together. You know, Gene came over from Ignite. We hired him as our CEO as we made the transition into legal. He's really kind of who spearheaded us and give us like the light in the path to legalization. And then, you know, we got Sorrow, who's our CMO, who's just been, you know, an absolute pillar in helping us, you know, get everything to market regulation-wise and just making the brand, you know, have the fine-tune that it is. Because, you know, I did all the marketing and all the branding on the black market side, but once you go legal and it becomes like a bigger play and there's regulations and all these different things, it's way too much for one person to handle. So Sorrows came over and just absolutely crushed it. Got a lot of good people. Got Antonio, got, you know, got Campaign Colin, we got Kirsch, we got Hasho, Alice and Taya, Anthony, you know, the whole production team. We really got a really, really dope team. I hope I'm not forgetting. I am forgetting a bunch of people, but, you know, we got a really good team. It's not like a one-person effort at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone really trusts each other. We all wear multiple hats, but we do what we do to have to get it done. And we all like-minded. We're all passionate. We're young people. We all have the same goal in mind. And we just want to make the landscape a little bit better for everybody else on the cannabis side, you know?
100%. No, that's definitely the only way that you can succeed. It's like with us, for example. We wouldn't be able to do, like, I wouldn't be able to pull up and do all this by myself.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you can.
That's one
but
thing I
it's just
admire about y'all is anytime I've seen y'all, you're on like your group of 8, and it's like no matter who's doing what, you guys are all there to support, and you kind of like rotate the support around. Like that's really dope to see from an outside perspective. You know what I mean?
And I appreciate
so salute to y'all for that.
Appreciate that.
It's kind of like you said too. Like a lot of your guys wear like a lot of the same hats or more than one hat. It's like we're all wearing like 100 different hats at the same time.
Oh, shout out Michael on the NFT side too. That's someone I was forgetting.
Oh yeah, we heard about that. Yeah, we heard you guys are coming out with NFTs, or you have them up?
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of our like original strain art that we did in the black market. We had about 200 strain stickers that we created. We can't bring them out. We can't bring them in the legal side, right? Because you're not allowed using characters and stuff. So we're gonna sell them as NFTs. Just a little bit of like nostalgic history for people. But we got a cool roadmap for it, you know. So
nice.
Working with some great people, you know, got some good community leads that have really, you know, spearheaded this project to be successful. So I'm happy for it.
You guys take crypto as payment or no?
Not right now, no.
All right now, right?
In the black market we did, but right now we're, you know, it's all
market's not looking too good right now, yeah?
No,
but yeah,
you know, crypto does that though, man. You know,
it's been that way.
Yeah, it's a buying period.
It's been that way.
But it's really dope. Even the cross collaboration of everything. Just because, like, again, with a purchase, like, you know what I mean. Everyone's getting like a little piece into the NFT space, even if they're not familiar. Right?
Well, the whole premise of these collectible cards was like, look, we're gonna have to print marketing materials anyway to give away with the purchase, right? So like, what's it gonna be, a business card? But like, why not make it with purpose? You know, give people something with education, give them a collector's point. Like, you know, as we scale, like, you know, certain strains will be limited and stuff, so there'll be scarcity behind the cards. And, you know, it's just adding like a little bit of like nostalgic value to it, and culture. You know, again, just making it more of a community. If there's more in it that people can converse about, talk about, be proud of, and all that, have all these different things as like tangible assets, or, you know, just stuff that they have nostalgic value in, right? Like that means a lot, right? Like, and I think a lot of people overlook that. We're just trying to build a dope community and get something people in Canada can be proud of. So all the little things, you know, I feel like they make a big difference, and just, you know, pushing at that extra mile, right?
Yeah, from the consistency and quality of the bud to everything else you guys got going on, is definitely scaling well. So again, big ups to you guys. I'm actually going to spark one of the...
And you guys brought this into the States?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Is that like a whole different type of
we're not even out of Ontario yet. So we're not even Canada-wide yet. You know, we're still only in Ontario. But that's just because due to the demand, right? Ontario's taking so much product, we can't even ship to anywhere else yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and you can't open up in Vaughan, right? Because Vaughan is like,
no.
Yeah,
if Vaughan ever like allowed, would you guys like?
Retail isn't really our main play. You know, like we're a brand. We're in 1,400 dispensaries being sold. So like we're not really looking to jump in like a retail landscape and compete with people that are supporting us, right? Like the retail location again was more so of like a touch point for the brand in the city. If you're coming to Toronto and you want to come, you know, be associated with Ghost Shops or just have like a touch point of the brand, it's like a hub for that, right? But it's not to compete and take over the retail space. That's not our business model at the moment.
You guys got everything planned out, bro. Like for real, like down to like the Cubs, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, before we started the podcast, he came in here and he turned the cup like, so that the cameras got and everything.
Everything branding is on point.
Look what like
look at the back. The way your team even came in here, like
team came in here and got it right. Like
they're good, man. We got a good team.
But just touch on the music side. So who you listening to right now?
Killing the Charlie B mixtape. Obviously, that one's fire. You know? All right. I'm such a Toronto hip hop head, bro. I got a bunch of your tracks on my playlist. I got a bunch of I got a bunch. Like,
that's me. I'm finding that out today, bro.
I have like, bro. I'm so like, I take a lot of pride in Canada. You know what I mean? So like, you know, especially like the hip hop landscape itself, you know what I mean? It's something I've always taken a pride in. My whole goal, like when I was a young kid, was never to be like a big pillar in the scene. Like for real, for me, all I wanted people to was to like know my name, right? Like that was my goal. Like
exactly what
I used to go in battle competitions and I would win them, and I would like go home so excited, jump on Hip Hop Canada and like, yo, what are people saying about me? And they'd be like, oh yeah, that skinny white kid won. I'd be like, yo, motherfuckers, man. Like they don't even call you by your name, you know what I mean? But that's the chase of it. So like, You know, I'm going to be doing more in like now that Ghost Drops is kind of on its feet and running, you know what I mean? And we're able to come out. Like, I want to do a lot more for the hip hop space in Toronto. You know, I'm going to be doing some dope shit out of the store and just connecting a lot of the dots. We got a lot of dope shit happening kind of behind the scenes with some big players in the music industry just to create a little more of an ecosystem to help and do this stuff, bro. Like, King of the Dot was never started for me to be anything. You know what I mean? Like, King of the Dot was started for me to put a bunch of battle rappers that were around me in the same opportunities and positions that I worked myself into, you know. So when I was young, I used to travel and, you know, get on these flights and you know, go places where other people weren't. So when people in Canada wanted those opportunities, that's what it was really for. So, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to be able to do that again on a whole different level.
No, it's good. We don't really have people like that, especially in the city. I mean, because obviously it is very competitive, right? And everyone's trying to get on top of each other.
There's some dope shit happening now, though. Like, you see, like, Keep Six Solid doing the Solid 16s. You know what I mean? Even Six Buzz started venturing and helping a lot of rappers and stuff like that. So, like, the more Rolling Loud coming up here, like, the thing is, you know, we live in a city, unfortunately, like, where people are following the trends. Now that Rolling Loud has brought, like, a festival up here in the scene, like, the Americans are giving a fuck about Canadian hip-hop, you're going to see a lot of Canadians start converting over and supporting Canadian hip-hop now, too, right?
I think what we need is exactly what you just said, is, like, we need, like, those Diddies of Toronto and, like, people like yourself, so, like, you, like, even, like, Charlie B, what he's doing right now. We need those type of people because those are the people that move the industry forward. Without people like that, people have no guidance. They don't know where to go. Someone like me and us, we're figuring out this shit by ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now, luckily, we're getting help from some people like yourself and, like, you know, just giving us opportunities. But, like, yeah, we need more of that, like, those type of people. You get what I'm saying? Like,
you know, bro, like, we never had many of those. Like, that's why, you know, I'll show love to, like, you know, Camo, Hudson, and, like, a lot of the people, you know, like D Brown, like, a lot of the people that reached out to me when I was young and tried to be those people for us, because that's what I always felt. There was such a big generation gap, you know, and I felt like COVID really created that in Toronto. You know, you see it. Like, you know, a lot of, like, the older generation rappers aren't, there's no like collabs happening. There's nothing really. You know what I mean? And it's just a big generation gap. And, you know, whatever we can do to fix that, it needs to be fixed ASAP.
No, 100%.
You know, because we have something special up here. And unfortunately, we live in a city where everyone's in a rat race and they're all trying to be the next one. They don't understand how special it is to have what we have. And if everyone was able to work together, how powerful that would be.
Of course.
We have one of the best hip hop scenes in the world. It's just everyone's against each other.
As of right now.
That's exactly what I was saying, though. Because what you just said before, you were like, I started King of the Dot to put people in position that I worked myself to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like he said, like, we need people like that because we don't have enough. And that's why the industry here hasn't moved forward.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, why is that? But it's kind of not a stupid question to ask you. I mean, it's just like the way that the city's going now and where it could be if people give each other the time of day as you do.
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm still very proud of the direction the city's in because of where it was 10 years ago and to see where it is now, it's crazy. Toronto artists never got this love. Like, I'm talking about, like, 4,000 views was a big fucking deal when we were coming up as a rapper getting your shit up because, like, it used to be special just to have a music video, right? Like, not everybody had a camera back then. So, like, having a music video almost meant, like, you fucking made it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way we looked at it. Like, you had a music video, like,
even
damn,
if it was
homie.
low budget
you know what I mean? Yeah,
it was the bread.
You know, so just seeing where it is now, where, like, you know, I know it's so easy to focus on a lot of the negativity, but there's still so much fucking positive happening, you know? And the negativity overshines a lot of it because it's hard not to when, you know, people are removed from a scene at shock value and stuff like that. It's hard to look past that, you know, especially pillars in the scene. But there's still a lot of positive here, and I think the focus needs to go back on that, you know what I mean, about the people. And you know, I think it's just a social media issue more than a hip-hop issue, you know? I think, like, people focus on the negative. We like to see the news. It's all negative. No one's happy for the positive, right? Like, someone doing bad in their careers. Look, man, Leonardo DiCaprio getting another role is not going to make the news, but if Leonardo fucking retires tomorrow or gets in something bad happens to him, it's fucking everywhere, you know? And that's just the reality of the world we're in, man, unfortunately.
And you pointed out, too, the whole numbers game and stuff like that. I mean, like, we're still chipping out what we're doing right now. Like, for myself, I'm a videographer, director. Even if we touched 1,000 views, like to me, I'm satisfied. That's my art. That's my work, right? So I mean,
1,000 people is a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
It's like going to a high school auditorium and fucking being able to play for them, right?
And nowadays it's just a numbers game of like this, like oh, it's 1,000, but like it's 1,000 people, like you said.
I notice a lot too that it's not even like people I know either.
Yeah, but look at it like this.
Weird.
Think of your parents coming up being musicians.
Yeah,
they would have been fucking thrilled at the fact of being able to perform in front of 300 people. You know, we get that just on the internet when we're not even around.
Yeah.
Like, that's something crazy.
Yeah,
We got to be appreciative of, like, the space that we're in and having these opportunities because, man, I'm telling you, I came from an era when I was young, like, if you were the guy with the video camera, you were the guy probably getting robbed that night because it looked like you had money. You know what I mean? And that's just, like, how far technologies came. You didn't have cell phone cameras. You didn't have cell phones and people holding up. It had to be people with these big lugged cameras on their shoulders and shit like that, and they stood out from everybody, you know what I mean? And it was just, it's cool to see where it's at now, you know, even seeing programs like the Remix Project and all these things that are just helping people, you know, obtain opportunities, studio time and stuff that just wasn't available to everyone back in the day, right? You had to really be someone and I think like obtain factor grants or get video grants and everything. And now the power is really in your hands. A factor grant isn't making or breaking anybody these days, you know what I'm saying? So that's a really dope thing to have, bro, is the power of controlling your own narrative.
Just getting into King of the Dot, since we're already on that, how did it start?
Yeah, what's like the beginning?
Like, what was the beginning of it?
Timelines. Like for those who don't know, like some timelines.
You know, I was always a battle rapper, right? So like, I wanted to win every competition in Canada. That was always my goal. Once I did that, it was about winning them all 3 times. I won BET Spring Bling came up to Canada twice in 2006 and 2008. I won it both times. In 2006, when I won it, I was supposed to be on Freestyle Friday. Never got the opportunity. So when AJ and Free, the host of BET, came back up in 2008, it was like a written promise that I was going to get. And I ended up winning again, won $5,000. You know what I mean? Was supposed to be flown out to New York on Freestyle Friday. It just never happened. But, you know, it just kind of motivated me to, like, stop relying on other people. And again, at that time, I had so many people in my, like, it was YouTube DMs at the time, right?
Yeah,
like, I was one of asking, like, yo, how did you get your footage online? Like, where did you go? How did you find out about this? That, like, I was able to be like, damn, I could probably, like, throw my own shit with all the people asking me, right? So I just went through my YouTube inbox, fucking hit up a bunch of the rappers that I kind of had hit me up and stuff, and were like, yo, would you guys be down for this? And that was really it. It was never like this master plan to be what it is today. It was just about like curating that in the moment. Like all these rappers are looking for something to do, and you know, I feel like I can make it happen. I've been here before. I kind of had a vision for. It was mainly this too. Like when I used to battle in competitions, I'd be so excited. I'd get all my friends riled up. We'd all drive to the city, and then you'd go inside expecting like this big ordeal, and there'd be like 26 people in a club, you know what I mean? And like no one giving a fuck, you know what I mean? And like, yo, I got so hyped for this, you know what I mean? And it just was never what I thought it could be. And I knew if I was that excited about it, then there's got to be at least a couple other kids my age that were that excited about it too. And if all of us were able to like put that in the same room, like that energy would just grow, you know what I mean? And that's really what happened. The first event we did with King of the Dot, I think was like 35 people outside. Second event, probably 45. Third event,
that's pretty
65.
good. That's pretty good for.
You said 35 for the first?
Yeah. But that's including the rappers, right? So like, you know, each rapper's bringing 5 of their friends,
people,
right? We had, I think, 4 battles that day. So 8 battlers bringing 5 friends each. That's 40 people, you know what I mean?
And that was the first King of the Dot
King of the Dot. And we got a lot because we used to do them on like Young and Shooter. You would get a lot of like stragglers, I guess you could say. People walking by, like looking over me like, what's that? And then coming over and standing there, right? So we used to, it was very organic, no pun intended, on how it kind of grew. You know what I mean? So,
I think that's sick because that's such raw hip hop.
Yeah.
On the street, battling, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's super sick.
It's like stuff you would only see. That's the thing. They think that shit only happens in the States.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like the whole Biggie era and stuff, out on the block of Bronx and stuff. Like, no, that shit happens in Canada too. You know, we have that too. Like, we got a lot of people here who are like super.
So when did it start like picking up? Like when was like,
even
holy
like
shit?
The first time I think look, I knew we had something off rip because it's, again, it was never about if other people gave a fuck about it. It was how much we gave a fuck about it. You know, I didn't care if there was 12 people there, 100 people there. Like, I remember almost being upset that, like, battle rap is getting too big because it's like, yo, they're like, this is our,
Catching
like,
the
this
wave.
is like, yeah, you just felt so passionate about it. You didn't want it to be, like, commercialized and ruined, right?
Facts.
So, you know, our first, we couldn't get indoor events. We could never get a fucking venue, man. I remember doing an event, I think it was volume 5 or volume 4. We were outside in like -20 weather battling. And in between battles, everyone would run to their cars and sit in their cars and warm up. And then I'd honk my horn and everyone would come out and we'd do another battle.
That's so
you know what
sick.
I mean?
That's so
and
sick.
So then we realized, like, yo, we can't do this anymore. Like, this is fucking crazy. So we, I knew we couldn't get a venue, but I had my cameraman at the time, had a friend he went to school with whose father owned a cafe. And they allowed us to use that cafe to throw a venue. So we put the flyer out, I think a week and a half before the venue. It was a 250-person venue. By the time we showed up, there was probably like 400 people in line. And that's when we realized, like, yo, holy fuck, like this is something different. So, that's like crazy. That Volume 5 event on YouTube, you could watch. I think like Kid Twist, Hollahan Battle Lavish Language. You know, that it was that event. That place was ram-packed. We had to turn people away at the door, and that was our first indoor event. Wow. And it was from there on out, we just knew we had something, bro. We had the city on lock pretty much from there because it was like consistent. We were doing them monthly. And it was kind of, not to say a dry spot, but it was like Drake had just kind of blown up. Not blown up, but he had made it, and it like deflated a lot of people's ambition in Toronto. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of rappers were on that, like, hey, is it going to be this guy? Is it going to... There was like a good like 6, 7 candidates on who it was going to be that was going to break. Now, keep in mind, probably none of them would have had the ultimate success that Drake did. But at that time, no one knew that. You know what I mean? So when Drake kind of got that look from Lil Wayne at first and shit like that, and it was coming out, like, a lot of rappers were almost like, fuck, I talk shit about this guy, I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, it deflated a lot. So it left like an open space for like, a place for people to like come to, and you know what I mean? It wasn't like, I don't know, I just felt like not much was happening in the hip-hop scene at that moment, you know. And at that time, again, Drake was, you know, down in the States doing his thing. So like, the big shit that was happening around Toronto hip-hop wasn't happening in Toronto, you know what I'm saying? So it just gave us like a little hub for everybody to come. And like, King of the Dot events were never just battle rap events. They were like networking hubs. Like, every person there was like selling t-shirts, selling CDs, a studio engineer, a producer. Like, it really started off as like everybody was like a somebody there, because the only places we promoted was like hip hop forums. You know what I mean? And if you're on hip hop forums, you're probably in the hip hop culture, right? So that's really how it started, and it just snowball affected, bro. You know what I mean? And, you know, staying consistent with all of us, and, you know, being as passionate as we were, we really took it like a real project. You know, we all work full-time jobs, but we got together twice a week, you know what I mean? And just made the best of it every time, and, you know, just had fun. But it was crazy. I don't know how we did it, bro. We used to throw events. I'd throw a flyer up a week and a half before the event. We'd throw the event at noon on a Saturday, and I'd get there and there'd be 600-700 people in line. Wow. At noon on a Saturday.
And what year? You know what year was that around?
2010. Yeah,
man.
That's around when Drake started to like pop, though, no?
Around there.
So then a question: Why would the ambition be deflated if Drake?
No, not from us, just from other
Like,
rappers.
Oh, you're just saying from other rappers in general.
Because it was just a rat race. You got to
Yeah, I see
understand.
what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
Everybody wanted, like, after everybody wanted to be the next Cardinal. Who's going to be the next leader of our city? Who's going to be the one that puts our city on the back and carries us into America? So, like, it was all these people that thought it was going to be them. You have your crew behind you, hyping you up. But then when Drake got that Lil Wayne look, that broke a lot of hearts, bro.
Yeah, for
Let me
sure.
tell you, man, back then.
Well, that's because Drake...
But there was a lot of people, keep in mind, that's just the people that were in that race. That also inspired generations of fucking people, right? So it was just that time, and that's what I mean. I felt like it was just, you know, the rat race was open, and once it ended, you know, like, the race is over.
I feel like hip hop changed a lot at that point too, right?
Yeah.
It was pivotal.
Yeah, well,
right?
you know, like, you look, like, there was just a lot of things that contributed to that, you know. I don't even really want to mention their names, but, you know, a lot of people, there's just, you know, a lot of shit happened around that time era that made Toronto hip-hop kind of what it was, you know. Yeah.
And then how did you get people from, like, for example, Grind Time to come over to KOTD?
So like the battle scene itself is very small, you know. So before I even started King of the Dot, like the World Rap Championships happened. I helped procure getting that to Toronto, and that was a competition that was in like London, England, Adelaide, Australia, New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, you know, all over the States. And then I got it to come to Toronto. Like I begged this motherfucker to like, yo, give us a Toronto division. So once that like dissipated, you know what I mean? It just left an open spot, but we all knew who the best were in each city. Like, you know, it was a small culture of us, right? So like they knew anyone in Los Angeles, if you were a battle rapper, you knew who the top 3 threats in Canada were, right? We knew who the top 3 threats in Los Angeles were, England, yada, yada. It was just kind of like whoever had footage at that time, and there was only a couple people from each city, right? So, you know, we're all still in the same scene, although a lot of us haven't met physically. We all knew who each other were, and we all were like very, very aware of each other, and that like we're all gonna cross paths probably in a battle one day. You know what I mean? So it was just like a little subculture on this forum, you know, that we used to all go on there and post each other's battles, comment on it, start beef. You suck. Wait till I see you. I'm gonna fuck you up. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it was. But it built like a community at the same time, because we understood it was like us versus the industry, and like people didn't really understand the battle rap culture. Again, it was new. It wasn't freestyle. You had a lot of people, you know, saying they could do it, or like, you know, a lot of big artists being like, oh, that shit's nothing. I'd go in there and fuck it up, yada, yada. But
no, it's two completely different worlds.
Two completely different worlds. And, you know, that's why it was a big deal when Drake showed love to King of the Dot, because, you know, you had people like Cannabis and all these people were like, oh, I'd go in there and crush it. And then you had other people like, yo, I'm going to stand back and be a fan. Because
Drake said he can go in there and crush it?
Drake would, bro. He's a rapper. He
is a rapper for sure.
But he was never like that. He was the person that was like, yo, I'm going to stand back and let y'all do your thing because I'm a fan of this shit and y'all are amazing at what you do. I'm not trying. He was never trying to be like the, hey, I'm coming to your event and making it about me. He was like, I'm coming to support. And you know what I mean? He never made it about him. So
touching on that, the mainstream artist doesn't even have to be like just right now. Like whoever you think, who do you think can survive against like the toughest battlers?
It's so different, bro, because like a lot of it, like lyric wise, there's a lot of people I can name, you know what I mean? But then like battle rap is so many different things. You need to know how to project. Deliver. You need to know how to deliver. You need to know how to act. You need to know how to perform. You need to have like the best memory in the fucking world. You got to have, you know, cadence, and not, if you miss a breath or you mispronounce something, you got to be able to mentally just throw that in the back and keep going, because if you think twice on that, you're fucked. You know what I mean? So like,
including all the pressure.
There's a lot to it, and it's very difficult to say, hey, this one person would. But one, like I always said, Drake would, because he pays attention to the culture.
Facts.
If you're a big fan of the culture and you understand, like, look, I'm watching this, I wouldn't do what that guy did because that hurt him, or I would do this, then I feel like you would be. Eminem would be another one. I think, like, you know, would it translate these days? Maybe not the way it would have in the early era of this battle rap, because I think this era's changed a little bit. But, you know, you can never take it away from someone that studied the culture, you know, and I think that's the main thing. You know, if you're ignorant to the culture and you think you're just going to walk in there and you're above it because you rap, you're going to get yourself fucked up, man. You know what I mean? And it's proof is in the pudding, you know. Name a successful fucking time any rapper came over to battle rap and had a successful battle where they didn't get fucking smoked by a local. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it goes.
It's literally a fight, man. Like it's like boxing. You got to study your opponent. It's exactly like that.
Diz and Crooked Eye will be interesting.
You got to train for it. Like it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
But in a battle, like is there ever like a line that can be crossed, or is there like a mutual? Obviously, there's that mutual respect, and you want to keep it on like a level of bars and
of course
like that. But is there ever a part where you can just like step over maybe someone?
Yeah, of course, bro. You know, like, look, man, you can say whatever you want in a battle, but the streets hold court.
That's
you know
100%. That's 100%.
Like you're not safe from the actions of what you say. You know what I mean? If every action has a reaction. You know what I mean? And understanding you're in a battle, there's got to be like a little line of respect. You know, I think back in the day, shock value was a big thing. A lot of people used to go, I was one of them, you know, used to go above and beyond to disrespect people, but it kind of just became played out after a while. And I think like now it's all about being able to do it graciously. And, you know, you don't want to diss people's kids or dead relatives, or, I think you just don't want that even on you know, it's not good footage to look back on of yourself.
Yeah, no, I hear
you. Want that, like,
but it was done. No,
100%. Like I said, I'm one of them that did it. You know what I mean? I'm telling you from experience. It's not a good thing to look back on. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, put that to the side, right? But
what's a crazy battle like with a moment like that where you kind of were just like, damn. Like, shock value wise.
I'll never forget when Sharon sent me his tryout battle, and I was sitting there like, did this kid just fucking send me this? Because he's in high school battling a kid, and he says something about like, it should have been you that died in that car accident, and you just seen like the whole energy of it must have been super recent.
Yeah,
it was probably like some popular kid at their school that was killed in a car accident. Like, just like everyone in the room just went. You know what I mean? God. And it was just like,
he sent you that thinking that was crazy.
Yeah, because that was his only footage. He only did that battle so he can send me something to get on King of the Dot, right? So like, Sharon is the ultimate success story. I fucking love that kid's story, man. But you know, like stuff like that. You know, there's been a couple times in battle rap. It's not even cool. Like now, it's like, you know, we kind of look at you like you're corny, and you do it. And like maybe people won't beat the shit out of you, but we're all just not gonna fuck with you. You know what I mean? Like no one's gonna book you again. No one's gonna want you at their event. You're a liability at that point. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah, because I remember watching. This is one of my favorite battles of all time. The Diz versus DNA.
Crazy.
Legendary.
Diz got so many legendary battles.
It was cool.
Bro, the shit Diz was saying was just like.
I just think like the way these guys think, bro. Like
Pat Stay versus Marv 1 was another one. You know what I mean? That was awkward to host. Yeah.
I just don't know. I'm saying the way these guys think, like it's just insane. I don't know how they think of like these next level bars. It's crazy,
they gotta
bro.
dig. They kind of have to dig up.
No, but the way they set it up, the way they set it up and shit too. Like you know what I mean? There's art to that too. You know what I mean? So.
But I think battle rappers are the most talented people in the world.
Yeah,
man. There's so many things that make a good battle rapper that when you're at this level, that like people are watching you on URL or King of the Dot or RBE. You know what I mean? Like that's a very elite level to get to. That's a worldwide. You know what I mean? Like you're top fucking 3% in the world at that point. You know what I mean? So.
I was gonna say there's like there's people who can write hits for the radio. Mm-hmm. And battle rappers can't do that, but people, but like vice versa, you know what I'm saying? That won't work either.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think that battle rappers can't do it. I think they just put so much of their emphasis into writing battle rap bars that when you try to transition that back into music, it's very difficult. There's some that make really good music. You know what I mean? But then there's others that try.
Were there any that had a career like after their battle?
Yeah, look at 360. You know,
I'm not familiar with 360.
360 was a battle rapper from Australia. You know, he was around in our early days, but he got real big. You know, he was on the cover of Rolling Stone and all that for his music. You know,
oh really?
Oh yeah. So, yeah, he did real good, man.
Was he big in Canada?
Yeah, he was big in Canada. He got songs with like, you know, I think a couple. I don't know, probably like 40 million views and shit like that on some of his songs.
Which era was this? Like
2010 to 12ish. You know what I mean? Yeah. But.
Around that time, I was only listening to like mainstream shit, so I wouldn't even know.
My ear was not trained at all. Like,
for what?
Like just listening to music in general. Like, whoa! I remember just coming across battles just randomly on YouTube. I was like, this is mad. Like, this is maniacal, and that's what kind of gets you into it. Same thing with music. Like, kind of develop like an ear. Like even for battlers, you find a certain ear, which battlers you like. It's crazy.
So I got a question for you. So like, what are your top 5 artists? And what are your top 3? Because top 5's too much sometimes. So top 3 like artists and top 3 battlers, if you're allowed to say, or if you want to say.
Artists is so hard because it goes by era, bro. It goes by like you know.
Who's like your go-to go-to guy to listen to? Like you're about to play music. Who's your go-to guy?
Depends on the day, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Heavy Huddy on that First Class Funk track. So we heard that.
Sure, my guy Huddy. Shout out Huddy. Oh, wow. That's Huddy and Jordan are people I forgot to mention when we asked for shout outs, bro.
Yeah.
And those are like 2 of our main guys.
Yeah.
Fucked up there, man.
It's all good.
We saved you.
We'll make sure we put it in the Instagram.
No, Hudson and Jordan are great, man. Who am I go to? Right now, Pangs. I feel like, you know.
I've been seeing you guys.
French Pangs, Doovie in Toronto, you know. French Pangs and Doovie in Toronto right now.
I love how you're mentioning just Toronto artists.
Yeah, that's what I'm into, right? You know, for the last like 5 years, that's really what I focus on, bro. Is a lot of Toronto artists. Battle rappers, like there's a lot for different reasons, you know, like I'm all like Pat Stay. I think is Pat Stay, Disaster, Big K, Sharon's. You know what I mean? You got, I'm a big Sue Surf fan. There's so many, bro. I'm a big Bill Collector fan. Mac Myron, I'm a big fan of. Like, it's so like, bro, it really depends on kind of what I want to watch. You know what I mean? If I'm, because that's where I feel like I'm at with battle rap. If I want to watch something that's going to be a little more comedic, you know what I mean? I know who I'm going after. If I want to watch like a bar fest, I'm going to watch, something older, or, you know what I mean? Certain, like I feel like it's just different, right? Like certain battles like Sue Surf and Big T will always stand out in my mind as being like just like a bar fest, right? And then like you got like Pat Stay and Holohan, that's like you want to see something that's like two friends destroying their friendship. You got Caustic and Jefferson Price if you just, or T-Rex and Charlie Clips if you just want to see people get completely obliterated. Caustic and Q. There's I think it's really dependent. I'm just a fan of so many people, bro. I'm a fan of all of them. Like, I'm honestly probably the biggest battle rap fan in the world.
No,
you know what I mean? That's why I'm still doing this shit.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
did you ever see yourself turning into like what you are today?
No, I had no fucking.
Because like realistically, that kind of like trips me out. Because what we're trying to do may not even be what we're gonna actually be in like 5 years from now. So, like, yeah, like you didn't see yourself at all in this position.
No, bro. Like I said, I never, like me even entering competitions. Like there was a point in time I wasn't even gonna do it no more. Like starting my own shit was pretty much keeping me in music. Because I'd won all these competitions. It was like, hey, what else is there to do? I don't make music. I was a freestyle rapper. I just like rapping and, going in ciphers and, that whole culture of like catching people outside of a concert and, battling them. I love that culture. And that's kind of what we staple King of the Dot off. It's like a street corner battle. You know what I mean? And, what was the question again? Yeah,
Shit, that weed starting to hit, eh?
Yeah.
Yo, I actually...
It's that first class funk, bro.
This guy's getting secondhand real quick.
Wait, what did you say? I don't even know. I was so
They're
like
trying to dog me. Every person in the room
We got
here forgot
reset.
it.
we just got.
Did you guys forget?
Yeah, no, it's you asked him, did he see himself?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Fuck,
Nah,
this weed's strong,
like,
bro.
yeah. Did I see myself? No, not really, bro. I think everything just, what happens. I really just model myself off trying to create impact. It's never been like financially driven. It's never been like, anything other than like what impact can you make before you leave the world?
No, for sure.
Impact to inspire.
That's pretty much it. And I feel like building communities has probably been one of my strong points. I got my own brother. Even before this, I had like a big rap shit online even before King of the Dot. Like even the way I was in high school, I had like a giant group of friends that moved as like a big clique. Like I feel like building communities has always just kind of been my strong point and putting people in the right positions and seeing what they can become of it,
No, and again, like I even seen some of your old videos of like you rapping, and like we saw one of like you rapping in a car or something, and like you can just tell the hunger. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like in music, especially this industry, if you don't have that, you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? This has to be like your everything to the point where you have to love it at like with all your heart. You get what I'm saying? So. No, I
you
see that.
basically got to be delusional.
No, straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
Like you, that's it. To be successful, you got to be, but you almost like in the music world, you almost got to be delusional and just not caring what's happening in the outside world because people will judge and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's your own happiness. You know what I mean? Like, our older parents still play the guitar and shit like that. So if you still rapping at the age of 50, all fucking power to you. Do what makes you happy. Don't look at it as, you're in a race or anything. Just have fun with it, and what'll become with it will become of it. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Just try and make impact. That's really what it's about. You know what I mean? The rest will follow, bro.
Do you have any advice to someone that's like starting, that's like not starting out, but like someone that's coming up? What's a piece of advice that you can give them? And not even, it can just even be mindset. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't burn bridges. You know what I mean? Like, one thing I see a lot of people do is just try to take, like, an aggressive standpoint to, like, make themselves seem like a staple. And I've always felt like that's the wrong. Makes a lot of people, you may win in the short term, but you'll lose in the long run. Build with people, build networks, and give everyone a shot. You never know who can help you or who's going to turn into what. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there that, I've just met off a 1-2 handshake that have turned around 3-4 years later and hit me up and been like, yo, I have this opportunity. I've thought of you, and you just never really know, and hopefully you're in a position to be that person to provide that opportunity to the next guy. You know what I'm saying? So
But what if they
that's
fuck
really
you
what
over,
it's
though?
about. What's
Like, what
that?
if they fuck you over though?
You're gonna meet a lot of people that will fuck you over, bro.
Well, yeah,
You know what I mean?
we already have to
Yeah.
be completely honest with you. Yeah.
That's part of the game.
Yeah,
you know
I
what I
know.
mean? Let them weed themselves out. You know, fuck them.
But what's your advice for dealing with that? My bad. What's your advice for dealing with that? Like, because we deal with that all the time, and we always try to take the high road, obviously, instead of
Keep
like.
taking the high road, bro. Keep taking it because, you know, at the end of the day, it's how you sleep at night and it's how you move. It's your integrity at the end of the day. As long as you know you've moved proper, you're never going to regret how you handled that situation. You know what I mean? Like I said, people may win in the short term, but life is long. You know what I mean? And I don't think anyone that's ever fucked anyone over still reaps the benefits of it 10 years later. Right. So they usually regret burning that relationship. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
No, in fact, no. Literally, words kind of out of my mouth. I was gonna say high road is always the way to go.
Yeah.
Energy is everything.
Look, there's a
and
line
time
though.
tells.
There's a line between taking the high road and when you're being disrespected. If you're
Facts.
being disrespected and you feel like you have to stand up, you never be afraid to stand up for yourself. You know, you have to speak for what's right and make sure people don't fuck you around or bully you around. But at the same time, if you can move on and be better without them, that's the best way to get them back
way to
anyway.
carry yourself.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Do you think hip hop and battle rap? Do you think it's a you think the art form is dying?
No, bro. I thought battle rap was dying back in 2008. I was like, how many fucking multis can we make? How many like character references can you make? You know, Drew Carey ate a bunch of fucking blueberries or fucking, you know what I mean? Like, there's only like, you know, you're thinking like, how many of these can come about? But then it just keeps evolving. And like, now it's at the time like people are doing like reverse punches and like, you know, you got all this crazy shit that it's like, bro, what the fuck?
What's a reverse punch?
Yeah, bro, watch an A-Ward battle, man.
Did they just say the line in reverse?
Yeah, it's just like, you know, it's crazy, bro. You know, what kids are doing these days with writing, they're just so intricate with it that, you know, it's at a level that I could have never fathomed it being 10 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like the kids nowadays are actually kind of smarter in a way.
Because a lot of kids are like properly like educated too. They're going to school or what, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
No, it's like a
like, you know?
Well, I mean, now there's
No,
just
it's different, 'cause, like,
it's just like
everything is so
like
instant,
you know.
yeah.
Well, it's not cool to be an idiot, you know what I mean?
No, definitely not. But I'm saying, like, yo, back in the day, like, if we wanted to find something out, like, we couldn't just Google it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
If someone skipped the news that night, they're fucked for the battle.
you
You know what I'm saying? Or something. I don't know. Something like that.
I don't know. Kids know everything just because we have it accessible, like, right to
Yeah.
our face, you know?
It's like a
But
spoiled
no,
world.
just touching on the topic of that, so the battle rap thing, but then there's also even the generation of rap, the mainstream stuff, right? Because obviously there's two different eras, and we see a lot of the times like the OGs of hip hop culture are hating on the new generation. So it's like, I'm guessing that you don't feel the same way because you said that you fuck with like even the new Toronto artists, right?
Bro, it's because they're still in the race.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself in their shoes and their mentality. They're still trying to make money off music, and they see these other people pushing music in a direction that's totally opposite of what they're doing, and they're wondering where they fit in. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. It's not wrong because they're so emotionally embedded into feeling this way as this is the way hip-hop's supposed to be, that when someone does it differently, it's like I said, when I came in with battle rap, people were hating on it because it wasn't what they're used to. But that's because they put their whole life into it being this way. You know what I mean? So when someone takes that car and steers it in a different direction, you know, they feel slighted by it. But, you know, once throughout the race, I think they'll sit back and appreciate their career as a collective itself, and then be able to appreciate the way that the art form's evolved, you know?
You don't think hip hop will ever die? For example, reason why rock, all these genres, you know, they're at the top, and now like not that they're dead, but
I
like
feel
they're
like
not.
hip hop has outlived like all of it.
No,
massively.
of
Yeah,
course.
massive.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think there'll be a time where it's done?
No, because you know what, hip hop is like, we don't really have a lot of like subgenres of hip hop like there are for rock. You know what I mean? There's like contemporary
facts.
rock, there's soft rock, there's like, you know what I mean? We're like, we call Young Thug hip hop the same way we call, you know
Juice
what I mean?
WRLD.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear what you're
Juice
saying.
WRLD the same way we like, same as Conway. You You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're all still labeled hip hop, even though they're fucking completely remotely different. Like there's not a lot of subgenres. So I think like hip hop as a form is just evolved. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, young kids will hear like a Kumo D or a Rakim, and they're gonna be, what the fuck is that, man? Turn this off. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But that still was considered hip hop. And then what, like, you know, the Migos is doing is still considered hip hop, but it's fucking completely opposite of, you know,
That's what I love about hip hop. It's such a free form where you can do whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I mean, now we got Drake and mixing EDM.
Yeah.
So
let me get a water real quick.
Yeah, for
do
sure.
your thing.
For sure. Do your thing.
Looking at the bar where it's green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can just turn it up. It's fine.
Because this
Is there-
picks up from a bunch of different directions, right? So
What
it
else?
should be fine.
Any other questions? I think
What?
that's pretty much it. No, you have a couple more.
No, for the most part. All right, we're gonna get into your childhood trauma and all your stuff.
Let's go.
Okay, actually, what actually as a kid, what steered you to hip hop? That's I think
I
that's
think
a question
hip hop just threw him to hip hop.
Honestly, skateboarding videos.
Say word.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the fish
so
eye?
like,
Like the OG fish eye
like
stuff?
I remember there was I can't remember I'm struggling to remember what it was called, but I remember like, look, I was kind of always into it. Like I have pictures of me in like grade 4 of my school photos. I'm wearing a Wu-Tang shirt, but like, you know, I think I was really enamored by skateboarding and music as a young kid, just in general. But then hip hop was just different. I don't know what it was, man. My first album is 12 Inches of Snow and 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang. Got them the same day. I remember I got the Alcoholics tape. You know, so it was just something I was always kind of, you know, not dragged into. It was just always attracted to as a young kid. You know what I mean? And even rapping, started rapping probably the age of like 14, just recording, looping like a tape at the end of it and adding like making my own verse because you could loop at the snare.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And then
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able to have like that instrumental play for an extra 20 seconds. And then I would sit there and be like, yeah, fat. Hat, man, you know what I mean? Or just whatever the fuck I was saying at the age of 12, you know what I mean? But it wasn't good.
That's the feeling
But-
I wish I had. Was like, an album comes out, you're rushing to the store to like buy it. You know what I mean? Now
Nah, I feel you had that. No,
Over- I never
Overconsumption's
had.
killed that, bro. Supply and demand was a
Yeah.
real thing.
You don't
Like,
appreciate music,
overconsumption,
bro.
you
no,
don't,
but even
bro.
like streaming platforms too in general.
music
like,
is like fashion now. It's fast. It's in and out. Like timeless music is so fucking rare because it's
Yes.
just fast music is the way. People just want something that's melodic they can listen to and it's on to the next. You know what I mean? Like
especially like this Drake album. It just drops right away. Trash. Like people don't really take a day to really soak it in, and then you know what I mean. Like that's.
and then next week everybody's bumping it, and then
I
it's
feel
at
like
Cabana. and
music
then
has
so-
lost its substance.
No, it
over
has,
the last
because it's
couple years, bro. Like
oversaturated.
there's nothing like, you know, when I was young, I wanted music that like reflected to me. Like it felt like it spoke my life. You know what I mean? And when other people thought that song and was their song, it was like, okay, well, it's no longer mine because like I can't feel the same way all of these people do. You know, so it meant a lot to me in that sense. And I think like that's what I feel like is missing these days. That's why like you know, one of my favorite rappers you asked, like Millie's from Boston. You know what I mean? I still feel like he puts a lot of substance in his music. There's a lot of emotion into it, shit like that. So you know, yeah.
I feel like there is no emotion in music now for the most part, because it's like everybody's trying to get that the club banger, or they're lying in their bars, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? We've seen it all at the end of the day, right? But
Are you a big guy on that?
What?
People lying in their music? Like, are you like, or at the end of the day, it's entertainment. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
so,
yeah.
but
I
are
mean,
you like that guy where like,
Nah,
that
I'm
guy's
from the
lying?
battle rap world. Everybody would be locked up for fucking every murder they've committed if that were the case, man. You know what I mean? Like we talk about killing everyone all day, but that's just part of like the artistic
Yes,
like, creativity of it. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like there is a certain value to it on a fan base level. You know, outside of battle rap, I feel like, you know, battle rap's all about like creating this imagery and like devaluing your opponent and breaking them down. But like as a musical level and artistic, like it has to have some believability to it because like that's what I feel like is different. Back in the day, characters were built on like what your mind made them to be. You didn't have enough of this person to have like this character of them of who they really were. Like Elvis Presley, you only seen what Elvis was in the papers, or
Facts.
when you came. Now it's like motherfuckers are on live all day, getting
Yeah.
high, falling asleep. Like
You're seeing a lot more.
You see, yeah. So it's just very different, right?
That you reminded me of a question that I forgot to ask. It's I forgot what battle it was, but I watched the battle and he brought like papers and like he was like exposing him. I'm like, and I'm just
the big K Adi Boom one.
I forgot what it was, but I'm wondering what's like how does that even happen? Like what's the research that goes into?
So I think what happened
battles?
with that one, because K's my homie. I don't think he actually told me. Is he was battling Adi Boom. Adi Boom had been locked up for 5 years. He had just got out. It was his first battle back, and he just had a random person hit him up on the internet and say, "Yo, look into this guy's paperwork. He told on my homie. My homie's doing 12 years because he opened his mouth." And like he's not just because he served time doesn't mean he's supposed to be doing a lot more with the rest of them. You know what I mean? And I guess he sent those court documents over, and lo and behold.
Does that happen a lot? Like
nah, that was definitely an anomaly, and that shit went viral.
He definitely
because of that,
won for sure.
Well, yeah, because Adi, and again, I don't know. I'm not the fucking court of law. I don't know what's real, what's not. You know what I mean? Like I don't know none. Like Adi, I don't even know Adi Boom personally. I know Big K personally. It was, but at that time, it was a big deal for Adi Boom to come back to battle rap because he had gotten locked up for 6 years. So people were supporting him. He was keeping in touch with them while he's locked up and giving updates within the culture. So when he came back, it was like his return. And first round, Big K fucked that up for everybody. Took that excitement that no one knew what to do. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do in that situation? He's exposing the guy for being a rat in front of like fucking 600 people. Are you gonna cheer for the guy after?
Yeah,
makes you look funny.
For
you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So
what? It was just completely silent in there.
It was. I wasn't there, man. But like watching on camera, reading that room, it was awkward.
They got it on YouTube or no?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah. Or I don't know if you were referencing Diz and Arcane.
I feel like that sounds.
He might be talking about the one at Gov.
Yeah, Diz and Arcane. Okay, yeah. So that was screenshots of people like writing their bars together and Diz.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Well, Diz is insane, and he's like the craziest lyricist in the world. So like he takes this art form more passionately than anybody. So like if there is any like people trying to be like fake the funk in it, he's gonna be personally offended by it because he puts his fucking life into it. Like Diz is like he eats, sleeps, breathes this shit. When he takes a battle, like bro, he'll put you as the wallpaper on his phone so that like what I mean? And that's not a lie, bro. Like ask him, you know what I mean? Like because
that's crazy.
He's that he's out for your fucking blood, bro. Like he doesn't like,
bro, his delivery is nuts.
Bro. You go to his house, you'll be writing on walls. You have your whole rounds written on walls on 50 different pieces of paper stapled on walls and shit. Like he's like a mad scientist. So when people do fake the funk, and I'm not saying, you know what I mean, that's been a long time. Arcane is a solid dude. I know Arcane, he writes his own shit. But what the perception and how that was sold it is, and like you took someone that like it was set up to be that way pretty much. It seemed like I can't really remember the details, but feeding someone like Diz that sort of information, you knew what you were doing, bro. You knew you were setting that time bomb off with him, right? So. But he's a purist, man. He cares about the culture, and it's someone like him. He's willing to be a martyr and to keep the integrity within the culture.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So that's what he did that day.
This guy puts him on his phone screen. That's fucking insane.
Aside
he
from
takes
the
it
battle,
serious, man.
Aside from the battle that you did with him, what's like your favorite like Diz battle? Like that was a legendary.
Honestly, I think his performance against me was one of his best performances ever. Like as far as like the way he carried himself and like body language and everything in it, But Diz has had some iconic fucking battles, bro. Like,
Didn't he like diss all of Canada? He dissed like
that's
all
why I went to
Canada,
battle him, bro. It's because I was like cool with them.
What'd he say?
When he battled Ilmac, I can't even say it. I'll get canceled these days. But he put like it's like strengths. He just wrote Canadians are. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, what the hell? This guy's supposed to be like my guy. You know what I mean? But he just had a bunch of shit to say to Canadians, and no other Canadian would go battle him. So I was like, yo, I'll go. And
for you to go to Grind Time and do that,
I went
that's
to his
huge.
hometown to do it. So
that's mad.
Well, at the time, I thought it was his hometown. I found out that weekend it wasn't.
That's still mad.
But yeah, it was still California.
Still,
but
mad.
yeah.
You get nervous or no?
Pardon?
You get nervous?
To battle, I wasn't used to written battles, right? Like that was only my second written battle, and I battled HFK before that, just with throwaway bars that I almost had for Diz, just to kind of like understand it, because I'd always done freestyle battles, right? So I like kind of took that battle when I was drunk. I was just called Lush One after like doing this thing, and I was like, yo, tell Diz I'm down, you know what I mean? And the next day I was like, shit, you know, here I go. But you know, it all came through. I was never happy with that one, but it is what it is. It's in the history books. A lot of people like it, you know. It's
You still did it regardless.
Bro, it did a lot for our culture. It did a lot for Canadian hip hop, bro. That was like, you know, going and like getting our respect. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
if you're not going to be able to talk that shit to us without us, you know, I'll come to your and say it to you in your face. You know what I mean? Like that was like the whole premise of it. Of like, yo, we can't just let these guys
like, we're not
bully
scared.
us, and no one's gonna do nothing.
No
like, if I gotta go, then fuck it, I'll go be that guy. And,
I feel like it had to.
I mean?
I feel like it had to.
And
be
at
you.
that time, Diz was like, you know, I mean, Diz still is, but at that time, like Diz was like the guy.
He was the guy.
You know what I mean? He was like the main. I was like, yo, I'm fucking on suicide watch going to do this, but you know, we
Do you still get the itch to battle or no?
Once in a while, like, you know what really gets me is when I think of rebuttals, when someone, and then I'm just waiting for this person to say it, and they don't. It's like, you fuck, you know, like you just ruined it, you know, because you'll think of it. It's like, yo, if you say this, he's fucked, and then they just like they're not thinking like that, you know. They're trying to remember their verse, and it's just so times like that. I just wish like, you know, someone would tag me in or something like that. You get those urges, but at the same time, like it's evolved so much. Like these kids are so talented these days, man. Like the culture has evolved, and you know, I'm happy just being able to play the role that I play and you know, help curate a lot of these things. You know, I'm probably in like one of the coolest positions ever for battle rap. I think of any match I want to make happen, I have the ability to make it happen. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? So it's like being the ultimate fan. You know,
when is the next event, or do you not know?
Honestly, man, I was really trying to set it up for August, but my return for Toronto's got to be special. You know, we haven't done anything in 3 years. I don't want to just come back doing something mediocre.
Yeah.
Once this inbound vaccine mandate fucking lifts, it's a wrap. You know,
isn't it?
No, they just lifted it so we can leave, but coming in Canada,
they can't come in.
Nah, not unless you're vaccinated.
Oh,
so. And the battle rap scene is filled. You know, it's like it's filled with battle rappers. They're, you know, conspiracy theory, not conspiracy theory, but I think in America, like, look, man, and even shut up, real deal. Like, a lot of the stuff that happens medically in America is not the way it happens in Canada. Like, a lot of people don't have trust in what's happening down there, so they have their right on not getting and doing their shit. I hate even fucking asking people. I don't care. You know what I mean? For me, I don't care. But our government seems to care a lot. You know,
I feel like Canadians lost trust in.
I'm excited to that.
Too.
We gotta come out to that.
Yeah, I gotta pull up.
Yeah, no. Once I'm able to throw something good, like if I'll probably push it till September because I feel like it will be lifted, but it's gonna be the big one. You know, like I want to bring the culture back to Canada because we are the main hub for battle rap. For like a good 7 years, like Toronto was the main spot to battle. Like if you were battling in Australia, South Africa, London, England, Los Angeles, New York, your goal was to get on Blackout or World Domination in Toronto. Those were the big events, right? And Toronto was the coolest city because like everywhere else you'd go to battle, it was just battle rappers and fans. And Toronto was like, girls were at events. It was like a cool hub in the city. You know what I mean? It was like the cool spot. So people would come up here and like meet girls, develop friendships, and you know, like it's crazy just the impact that happened that you know just that had on the world itself. It's pretty crazy.
100%. Well, we're definitely looking forward to pulling up to that because
dope.
Personally, I've only seen them. Yeah, I've only seen them through a TV show.
I've been watching them for probably the last
I did one in high school.
12 years.
Like,
we bro. The high school ones are cringy.
I just want to be there one time.
The energy is fucking like I'm excited for it because I've been doing all COVID battles for the last 3 years. Right?
Yo, those are crazy. Like production wise, those are crazy.
Yeah, they're super dope, but the energy is so different from having 30 people in a room and having like 1,000. You know
saw
what I mean?
one. I know what you're talking about. I think you posted one like during COVID, and it was just like I swear people were wearing masks and shit too. Yeah, bro. The energy wasn't the same.
No,
I know
it's
exactly
not. But
what
we
you're
had to do what we had to do.
No, for sure.
The production definitely made up for that. Like, you know what I mean? The restrictions and shit. So like, big ups for that.
Listen, we don't want to keep you any longer, so we know you have to take off. But thank you so much for chopping it up with us.
I appreciate y'all, man.
And if you want, plug all your stuff, your socials, your Ghost Drops website.
Ghost Drops Official at Organic Hip Hop, at KOTD TV. You know, fuck with the team, follow the team. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate people like y'all doing this shit. You know what I mean? And my guy, proud of you. You already know. You know, that's what's up, man.
And that's it. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Y'all, man. Good luck. Yeah.
bridges burn. No scrimmage, practice games, gotta live and learn. Speaking negative before they even hear the verse. Claiming that they didn't dig it, but who did?